Hi guys, welcome to Bath Fizz and Foam. My name is Robin French Smith. It's Monday, which means it's time for Make With Me Monday. What's up guys? Let's make some stuff. Okay, so full transparency here. I made some bad choices. I let some of my bath bomb mix sit out for a couple days. You know how always I'm like, oh, and then I try to use it right away. If I split my batch, then I try to use it right away. Well, I didn't. Okay. I didn't use it right away. It's been sitting for a couple days. So, this might not work. I rarely do this because it dries it out like super bad to do that. So what I've done is I've popped it in the microwave for like 30-second increments. Oh, hi Nectaria and hi Holly. Okay, so what I've done, in my series of bad choices, I popped it in the microwave for like 30-second increments until I can feel that it's soft. Because the issue with this is the high humidity recipe, and it has cocoa butter in it. So I've been, making sure that it's nice and warm. Okay, now I'm gonna add my fragrance oils. I may still have to add some more oil. But here's the thing. I'm also working on seeing like how quickly I can paint a bath bomb. Hi Jill, Jill says hi. Hi. So I'm working on seeing like how quickly I can turn around and paint a bath bomb. So I figured this is a good recipe to experiment on. So, because, if it goes wrong, it's like I already kind of did a bad thing to it anyway. So, it's like, how much worse could it get? I don't know. Okay, so I want this to be like a peppermint mocha. So I'll show you the mold I'm gonna use in a second when I locate it, but I want this to be like a peppermint mocha. I'm thinking 2 colors. It's been a long time since I've done a 2-color bath bomb. So I'm thinking 2 colors. So I am gonna add a tiny bit of mint, and when I say a tiny bit, I'm adding 3 grams of mint, and this is a half batch of the high humidity recipe. So just 3 grams of mint. I just want it to have the fragrance of mint. I do not want to burn anybody's hoo-haws, period. Like, I don't feel like that statement needs any more qualifiers, okay? We don't want to do that. We don't want to burn the hoo-ha. So, Nectaria says, what kind of mint? So this is peppermint essential oil from Medisoko. You can use it in bath bombs, and I've used it in bath bombs for a long time. So you just have to be careful with the amount that you put in it, right? Hoo-haws, no burning the hoo-haws. That's not okay on any, you wouldn't do that to your worst enemy, right? Okay, so, and this is, like I said, this is a mix that, it's iffy at best. Oh my God. Okay, so let's bring Mixie over. She's my little faithful mixer. And I'm gonna start mixing this up, and then I'm gonna add some of my color. So I want this to be 2 colors of blue. So we're gonna use Blue One Lake. So I'm gonna do the first portion, it's gonna be like a light blue, and then I want the second portion to be a dark blue. And we're gonna just toss it in there and have, different tones of blue, and it'll look like a really cute mug. And then I'm thinking I'll paint like a little snowflake on the front. We're vibing. We got this going. Okay. Let me find this. I'm gonna add some blue to it right now. So I'm just gonna add like a tiny amount of blue. Tiny amount of blue one. Because I want half the lake to have like a really light blue color, half to have a stronger blue color. Denise says hi. Hi Denise, how are you? So how's everybody's weekend? Week was like, is everybody good? Like 2021, oh my God. My husband's birthday is in December. And so like, I think it was like December 1st. And he's like, I'm so excited that it's December. And I'm like, in my head, I am still in 2020. Like, we have never switched over the year. This is still very hard for me to grasp. Okay, so there's no, I don't know if I mentioned this, but there's no citric acid in this, okay? So this is just because this was from one of those days where I'm like, I'm gonna make just a portion of a batch. I'm gonna set this to the side. I'm not gonna use the whole thing. I'll come back and use it right away, and then I didn't. That's what this batch is, okay? So, so half of it is colored this light blue. I haven't added the citric acid to it yet. I guess I'll go ahead and do that now. Oy, take some risks. Okay, so here's my citric acid. There's this, you can do this, okay? So I've done this before. It's just risky. That's part of the reason why we're gonna use a mold that is not like super detailed, so I don't have to worry too much about bad things happening. This is the Cada coffee mug mold. So actually, originally I asked for this because my older son loves The Office, and so I had looked high and low for a regular mug because I was going to make one that said World's Best Boss on it, like for The Office. We never ended up doing that, but we have the mug now, so we could if we wanted to. Suzanne said your youngest one said yes to the dress. Oh, so wait, they got engaged or they finally picked a wedding dress? Because that's super special. That's so special. Okay, okay, so you can tell us that in a second. Okay, so this, I'm going to split this now, and then the this other half I'm going to add more blue one too. So there is a blue color study, and I'll go ahead and link that. But I don't go into pastels, and for this reason, like if you want a pastel, just add less color, you know. And so I'm not going to be real precise about this. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Sometimes I'm precise about it, just not today. We've got a lot going on. You know, there's a lot of things that we can blame if it doesn't go right. So, you know, it's like, we're just going to be kind of loose about this. So, okay, this is another, oh my God, teaspoon. Y'all did not see that. That's just these glasses. This is a new prescription. The other glasses I had are green, and like these glasses, I cannot read close out of them. I think that they messed up with my prescription. Just saying. Okay, so we added more blue one to this, and I'm gonna have to give it a minute to really mix in there. In the meantime, I could be covering this half up, but I'm not. So, I want this darker though. I want this like darker. And I might even add, because this is looking like a real, like, it's looking like a real true blue. And I want it to be a little bit more minty, so I'm going to add maybe a little bit of yellow. Let's do that. Because, well, I don't know, it looks pretty good. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Don't do that. Okay, so we have this blue and this blue. Oh, Elizabeth says that she's been on a bath bomb making spree. Matt says hi. Priyanka says hi. And Denise says that she's waiting for her new glasses to arrive. Oh man, I don't know. I was really excited about these, but I think that this new prescription is like just kind of not quite right. Okay, let's send this one. Okay. Let's send Mixie on his way. And then we'll put this guy into a bowl. Just ignore that. Okay. Now, if you've been following along since episode 1, since the beginning of this, you know that this is mix that I'm trying to revive. I'm trying to bring it back to life. Okay, so when I make bath bombs that are 2 colors, I like to have a towel so I can wipe my hands. Now, this doesn't really matter because it's going from blue to blue, but especially if I was going from like blue to pink, I would like to have a towel so I can make sure I'm like wiping my hands between each color. Read my mind, not my lips, okay? So I do like to generally have a towel so I can make sure I can be like wiping my hands. So that's a good little hint I can give you. The other thing is that you can definitely, and probably should definitely, like, especially if you're doing more than 2 colors, cover your separate colors up so that they don't dry out too much between the, you know, the molding that you're doing. Now, this is the high humidity recipe. It is meant to hang in there for a good long time. I'm not being a great ambassador for my own recipe today, though, because I am using a batch that's been sitting around and then that I microwaved. Oh my God. Who are you, Robin? What are you doing? Why are you such a monster sometimes? I'm crazy today. Okay, so, but, you know, it's happening. We're doing it, okay? I don't expect people to always be making bath bombs the right way, to be doing the right things, you know? Just live wild and free, you know? Do what you gonna do, baby. Okay, so that was binder. You do need binder. I know that this is called the high humidity recipe. It's not humid proof. It's not fail proof. It's just meant to be able to hang for a good while. Okay. All right. Now, let's see if we can do this. I usually do weigh the mix as I'm adding it to make sure that each one is having like even-ish amounts of mix going in there, but we're not doing that. I'm just gonna free ball it. Okay, so I'm gonna sprinkle some color in. I'm gonna sprinkle some more color in. Now I'm gonna sprinkle some more color in. You see where I'm going with this? We're just gonna keep going back and forth. Now I do have more of the light blue than the dark blue. I think that I didn't color as much of the dark blue. That's okay. We're just gonna kind of fill the mix up to, like, you know, this point. Okay. And take the thick press piece. I'm gonna put it on top. We usually have, and we'll see if we need one of these, Amanda and I like to call it our dump bowl. Okay. And I don't have like a clean one right now, so I could use my citric acid bowl if I need to, but it's just like an extra bowl. So if this goes wrong and it breaks or something, I can have a extra bowl to dump the bath bomb in, so I don't have to mix it back into my pretty little mix that has all its color separated and stuff. Okay, we're gonna give her some good taps. I'm gonna take off this thin part. So far, so good. Okay, see, this was a good mold. If you're gonna be engaging in risky behavior in your bath bomb making life, this is a good mold for that because it's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot going on with it. You know, you don't have like a lot of little details that you're trying to make sure come out cleanly or anything like that. Perfect. What's kind of cool, now I'm not, here I'll show you. So some molds, I don't know if you noticed, but like the back side and the front side both have that mug handle detail. So some molds just don't work when this piece, the flat piece, has the details. This one, it does, thankfully. So some molds, like I know somebody posted this morning, they had a turtle mold that they bought and it was really cute, and they were feeling frustrated because it wasn't coming out for them. And what I could tell, like, and I don't at me, okay, because I know there's like different strokes for different folks, okay. What I've noticed is that when a mold is got the details on the flat piece instead of the thick press piece, they can be a lot harder to work with. Now, it's not, you know, it's not a universal rule, and there's always like going to be exceptions to that, and you're always going to have those people who are like, I use molds like that and I love them, and like, that's awesome. But basically what I'm saying is, like, just because it works doesn't mean it like works as good as it could. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we on the same page? Are we good? Bam, come on, for real, right? We know what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's how you would use a dump bowl. Let me wipe the citric acid out of this. So, like, here's one of the things you can do for a dump bowl. If this bath bomb mix was one color, I wouldn't do this. But, like, just doing little things like that, like tapping off the extra into there. So, like, say I was doing a rainbow color and I didn't want my colors to get mixed up or muddy. That's something that you could do. Totally. Kayla is asking, what is it? Oh, it's a mug. It's a mug. We're there. We got it answered. So, yeah. And I totally asked about somebody. I like this side. The other one was like that too. Oh, so pretty. Whoops. Okay. So, if you push it all the way out like that, I'm gonna show you how I typically unmold my bath bombs and don't have a heart attack or anything. Well, my hands might be too small for this one. So normally I wrap my hands around the sides of it, but this is a pretty big one, so I might not be able to do it. And then go like that. I know that that's like risky behavior. There's, oh, which is, that's like, is that like our theme for today? Yeah. There's also these little things which I love. Like a little unmolding tool. So that can help too. So with this next one, I'll show you that. So the first way I did it, I kept the whole thing in the sleeve, tumped it over, and then pushed it out with the sleeve on top. And then that way was a little different. And I'll show you a third way this way. Nectaria says that she agrees about the designs, liking the designs on the thicker plunger piece better. Yeah, I don't know, like, I can't remember how I figured that out. I think for sure the Cadas had the like little foot mold that you use like for pedicure bath bombs, and I think I was like making it in Alive. This is how awesome they are. I was making it in Alive and they kept breaking, and like I said something about like, oh, I think it's because the details are on this flat piece and I think that's what's going on with it. Well, like, I didn't even know that. It's probably Bailey that was watching, or one of them was watching. And so then, like, that week they sent me another one that was printed the other way, where the details are on the plunger piece, and it worked. Like, super worked. Like, worked like a charm. Like, way worked. So, big points. That was big points. But that was. And then I started to realize, like, the molds that I have where the details are on that flat piece, you know, they're like more difficult to pick up because you have to, I don't know why, just because, that's why. Just because. Okay, so this one, I'm going to show you how to use an unmolder tool. Now, before I had, and I'll leave a link for where I got this, before I had this, I just used a piece of cardboard. So, like, you don't have to have this, but it's like, my older son was in the workshop helping me last weekend, and he was like, you use that thing for everything. I was like, I know, I use this for, like, scraping my table clean, like, when I have, like, a buildup of, you know, drizzle or anything like that. Like, I use it all the time. Okay, so you would just do like that, and you could, like I said, you could use a piece of cardboard, you could use an index card, you could use anything to do this. It's just I happen to have a designated little thing for that. And then that way you don't have to worry about flipping it. you do still have to be able to do that. So you just want to be careful. You don't want to move your bath bombs too much when they're freshly made. Like, it's a pretty good rule of thumb. So, okay. Heather Manzano hides. Oh no. I'm not personally attacked. Look, we love our mold makers. We love our suppliers. That's why we like really try. Like, okay, bath isn't fun. We are a business, so we do sell our recipes. But like, we try to pimp as much as we can all the other people who are rocking it. So we love our mold makers. We love our suppliers. That's why we always give you like all kinds of links to, like, you know, check out this maker and check out this supplier as often as we can. So, but yeah, so this is Blue One Lake. We can talk about, you know, color use in bath bombs, and blue is, I don't know, I feel like the blue bath bomb is one of the prettiest. Like, green is my favorite, but I love blue too. Nectarina says, I'm a darling woman. Thank y'all. But also a daring woman. Also, thank you. So yeah, okay, this is how, like, look, if your mold isn't new, if your mold is new, this is kind of like a sketch. I don't like to do this particular unmolding technique if my mold is new, and that's because sometimes the shell, like this outer shell, catches, especially when they're fresh and they're new. See how there's like a little, no, that's how the mold's made. Anyway, it'll like catch sometimes, and so when I flip it over, if it's like on my pan, like, I'm committed, it's happening. Like, you can't turn around, you can't go back. So I don't like to do it like this unless it's a mold that's been broken in. I know how it works. She won't fail me. You know what I mean? Pretty. Okay, I think I can get one more out of this. I'm honestly really impressed. So I didn't add any with this mix. So I didn't add any extra oil to it. I thought I might have to. I actually have my oil right here on standby. Like, I didn't have to. I didn't have to add any extra oil. What I did is I popped it in the microwave for like 30-second increments. It was probably like a minute and a half total that I just kind of warmed it up to, and like mix it in between, you know, stirred it and stuff in between each thing, to make sure that, because there's cocoa butter and stuff like that in this mix, so to make sure that that was all melted and good in there. So it can be done. Now the humidity here today is like real high. It's like really high. Like, I'm dripping in sweat right now. Like, I know that I'm wearing a sweater. I don't know why I'm wearing a sweater. It was because today we're making bad choices, or whatever I said was our motto for the day. That's why I'm wearing the sweater. Ooh. But I'm sweating. It's hot today. It's hot and humid. So, as the name implies, the high humidity recipe works best when there's higher humidity. So, just gonna say that. Ooh, Elizabeth says, have I done a video on the Cada multi-bomb mold? She has the 1.5 and can't seem to get it to work. I do have one that I did, I believe, last year on the multi-egg mold, which is similar. I'll have to check my YouTube and see if it's on there. It's probably not like an in-depth video. Like, that was, editing videos is like a real job. It's a real job. Oh my God. Hollywood's like, no duh. It's a lot of work though. And so like, I've just been doing lives for years because I'm like, ain't got no time for that. But I just started editing longer videos, obviously, this last year. But that egg mold, I do believe I have like a quickie video on it. So I'll check on that. Similar concepts. They're a little bit more difficult. I'm not gonna lie. They're a little bit more difficult to work with. Okay. Here's what I want to try. So, I have tried this before. Just never on a live because why would I do that? So I normally paint my bath bombs with 91% rubbing alcohol. That's my favorite way to paint them. But in the Color Masterclass Boot Camp, that one, the Color Masterclass Boot Camp, we looked at like different ways to paint your bath bombs. And one of the things that we talked about was painting with oil or polysorbate 80. And so I've been experimenting with that just a little bit. And especially like if I have bath bombs that like I need to paint it right away so I can take the picture of it so I can get it posted because I need it to go out with like a set or something like that, but I don't actually need to send it. Like I have days for it to dry, but like I need the picture ASAP. And so what I found is that you can paint with oil or polysorbate 80 pretty fresh. I've never tried to do it like right now, like where it's like literally just made it, but like oil won't activate the bath bomb. The only thing about this is, hold on one second. The only thing about this is that I feel like the coverage isn't always as good with oil or polysorbate painting. We're gonna try it. I'm trying to see if there are ways that we can speed that process along. You know what I'm saying? So I have mixed in some mica. I added some titanium dioxide to it just to kind of thicken it up, and now it's like looks like cottage cheese. It's way too thick, which is why I like using rubbing alcohol because it just evaporates and then I just start over. But that's okay. I'm gonna get this like perfected eventually, I'm sure. Okay, so I have like a pretty, right? It's about the texture of real paint, honestly. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I want to try to paint like a snowflake on one of these guys. Let's see if we can do it. We've been watching Christmas movies all weekend with my kids, and we have the Bob the Builder Saves Christmas movie, which like, I know, it's Bob the Builder, but Elton John is in it. It's good. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna do a line down. Snowflakes have 6 things, right? Yeah, maybe? Okay. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure if I do this and I, want a little bit more coverage later, I could probably go back and add mica to it later. Like with rubbing alcohol. Just the thing with oil is like it takes, or polysorbate A, it takes longer for it to dry. But if I'm waiting for the bath bomb to dry anyway, go with it. So you do have to be careful because the bath bomb's still sensitive. So, if your brush is too scrapey on the top of it, then you might damage your bath bomb a little bit, which I have done right here. But okay, it's not bad. I mean, if you have to get it out quick, you could do that. Oh, Sarah says yes, 6. See, I knew there was like a scientific, like an exact scientific number of arms. Is that what they're called? Prongs on a snowflake? There are exact numbers of snowflake things. Then the other thing I want to make sure is that you're using a softer brush. So like, you don't want to use like a really stiff brush, especially if the bath bomb is fresh because it's soft, So these brushes, this brush right here is usually too soft, and I normally don't like to work with it because it's too soft, but it should work for this, right? I mean, it is picking up the texture just a little bit, but it's really not bad. I bet if I waited like 2 hours, I could come back and paint it and it wouldn't be like flaking up little pieces of bath bomb like I'm doing right now. It does feel more delicate, so like, you know, you just have to be more delicate with it. But like, there's a little snowman. I could paint like a little hat and a scarf on him maybe in a little bit, like a little nose or something. Casperson! She says, watch Make With Me Mondays. Thank you. Oh my god. Yes, I'm like doing the things. Oh, hey, by the way, we also do a face-to-face Friday, which is on, so this is the Bath Fizz and Foam group for like our support for you guys. But we also have face-to-face Friday, and that's on our business page. And so really the reason for that we started that is like I did lives for my other company, Scandalous Soap. I did a live every Friday for like 2 years or something. And so when I switched my focus just to Bath Fizz and Foam, I had a lot of my customers who were like, I miss you. So I was like, you know, I don't want them to join the help group. They don't need to join the help group, but they still want to be able to watch lives with me. And so that's why I started, and our business page is public. So they're able to watch that and watch us make something, you know, every Friday. So they get that same routine that they're used to. And what we did Friday was we made these little, I mean, they're not awesome, I'm not gonna lie, but we made these. I mean, so I tried using a mica stamp. That was like the big deal. But these are bubble bars, but I tried using a mica stamp on them. So go watch that too, if you want to. No pressure or anything. I know everybody's busy this time of year. Like, seriously, everybody's busy. So yes, this project, I wanted it to be something, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you guys are probably done with most of your Christmas crafts and projects. So the good thing about this is that it can take you all the way through winter, you know. I mean, I'm in Houston, so we don't get cold until like January and then February. So those are our coldest months, so. Okay, so I'm gonna do 3 snowflakes, and then I guess I'll do the last guy as a bath bomb. So yeah, so that's just kind of a quick little, look at that. We are just kind of trying to make progress in the bath bomb world. We have wide open horizons because bath bombs weren't even invented until like 1989, which I know for my kids is like ancient because they asked me stuff like, was I alive when Cleopatra was alive? Which is like rude, okay? Or you know, they'll say like in your day, like, okay, this is like literally my day. I am like still in my 30s, bro. But our bath bomb medium, I guess if we could say it's like medium, is like extremely new. It's extremely new. So there's like all kinds of areas that we still haven't explored with it yet, which is part of the reason that I love focusing on bath bombs. Like, so when Amanda first started, Amanda actually asked me if I would write some articles for Love and Soap, which is her soap company. So if you want to learn how to make cold process soap, check that. But you know, she asked me if I would write some articles about soap, and I was like, yeah, but there's just a lot about soap that's already out there, you know, and there's not as much about bath bombs. And so I was like, can I focus on bath bombs? And so that's kind of where we started like, you know, what can you do, what if you do this, what if you do that, and just kind of experimenting with it. So the horizons are wide open, my friends. Keep trying new things. We just don't know. There's just so much left to explore. I'll go back later when this paint is dry and add a little carrot nose and maybe a little hat and scarf for my snowman. But other than that, that's a pretty good, I mean, if you needed to be able to take pictures of it today, obviously it's going to take time to dry still, but if you need to be able to take pictures of it right away, that's a pretty good little hack there, I'm just going to say. Thank you guys for watching today. I really appreciate it. Amanda appreciates it. We love you guys. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments and I'll go back through and read through everything. I will leave you links to this recipe if you're interested in this recipe. The colorants, where I got my colorants, where I got the molds, anything else that if I go through and I see a question about it, I will leave a link to it. That's pretty much it for today, guys, but thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy making.